All right, what's going on, everybody? So I thought this would be a great time to speak about Capricorn, some of the mysterious things about Capricorn. Um, Definitely because the stellium is in Capricorn right now. Things related to, business, government, structure, method is heavy right now. And it's important to know that the more that we know astrology, the less we can dismiss people or write them off for being crazy. So this is what this video is going to help do as well. So first, I want to explain the title, right? It's like, oh, the vampire of the zodiac. You may have heard me speak about Capricorn being this in other videos, and this is not any type of disrespect. I'm just using an analogy so you can better interpret it. You know what I'm saying? So no disrespect to Capricorns, but another thing that I'm going to begin doing on the channel or expressing is that we're talking about energies here. Some of these videos that I've done in the past, they kind of sadden me when I go through the comment section when I get the chance and I see how many arguments have started. And for the most part, I give y'all mad love for lifting each other up in the comment section and having fun and everything. I see that too. So I'm not trying to be negative Nancy, but some of the things that make me sad is like the arguments, the debates between different signs, and especially us water signs. Like, we got to get it together, man. But it's personalized. It's way too personalized. So I'm going to continue to teach in ways that speak about these signs and energy. And I'm best suited to do it because I'm a Pisces, so I know how to segment each part of astrology very well because I have to deal with each part of astrology every day of my life. So Capricorns are the sign of the sea goat, meaning it starts in the sea, climbs onto the land, looks around, says, oh shit, I'm on land, and now I'm going to achieve something on this terrain, right? So there goes another analogy of why you can understand the ambition that is associated with this sign. But it really brings me into explaining why I call it the vampire of the zodiac. And it's because if you come from the sea, a different element, onto a terrain that you can actually be agile on, then it's a different element still. So you have to learn how to adjust. You have to learn what it is that you're even there for. And when you understand that you're in a part of another element and where you're placed in astrology, you figure out, okay, this sign is about recognition. And if any of these or all of these other life forms or energies that exist on this platform in other elements from different realms don't understand what my part is about, I must show them what my part is about. So one thing that I attribute to the sign Capricorn is anxious attachments, And the Capricorn herself taught me this. We were discussing it, we were breaking it down. I kind of like brought it to light, but she defined it as anxious attachments. And I think that is the most perfect worded terminology she could have gave to the description of Capricorn, because it needs to latch onto something. I'm not talking about Capricorns right now. I'm talking about Capricorn energy, right, y'all? So don't personalize. Stay with me. It needs to latch onto something. And it could be a person, it could be a group of people, or it can just be the mountain terrain that it looks and says, there's a top and a bottom to this. I'm at the bottom. I know what this is. I'm touching it right now. What is that? I want to know what that is. I at least want to be there to look and see if there's anything higher than that, right? Is there anything more to it? Is there a well with water at the top of this mountain? What's that about? Who's been up there? Nobody? None of y'all are going to go explore this? None of y'all want to be on the top of the mountain? At least just to know what it feels like? Well, I do. So it comes with trees, rocks sliding down the sides of the mountain, maybe it rains and it gets wet, and you got to camp out in a cave in the mountain before you get to this top of the mountain. And this is what Capricorn energy experiences on their journey through life, right? And they get stronger and stronger as they grow to the point where, and again, I said they, pardon me. The energy gets stronger and stronger as it accumulates and it grows and it experiences lessons. Saturn rules over Capricorn. The more lessons involved, the more repetition involved, the more method is involved. And they become recognized for this. They obtain status for this. All right. Even with the restrictions and the delays, and it says, hold on, you don't get the spotlight right now, Aries does. Why Aries energy gets it? Aries is the baby. Aries wants it and needs it now. They'll learn their lessons probably later on, but you get to learn it right now. Fall back, Capricorn energy. Okay, but the ambition still remains. I must and will, I said the energy must and will get to that mountaintop, even if it's just for the experience, even if it's just for the lesson, right? Okay, so where are we going with this? We got a stellium inside of this sign right now. So you may be interacting with individuals, you may be interacting with businesses included, you may be interacting with your government right now, to the point where you're looking at things and you're saying, well, why are they speaking with such emphasis? Or why does it feel so heavy on me right now? Why does it even make me feel burdensome or overwhelming or feel like I am being coerced to act and decide and do something right now in this very moment? And it's because of heavy Capricorn energy. It's because of it. So you may be speaking with a Virgo right now, right? And you may notice that it's just this adamant energy being expressed to you to the point where you might even feel cornered, right? It's not a Capricorn, it's a Virgo. And you may be like, well, Virgo is not always like this, or whatever the case may be. However, the things that this Virgo is speaking to you about may be pertaining to their children. It may be pertaining to them wanting to have fun with you. It may be pertaining to them wanting to date you. And they'll know, the Virgo will know that this is a gamble, a risk that they're taking with you. And still, they are expressing themselves to you to the point where it feels like an anxious attachment. Think these words, anxious attachment, like, man, you sure seem pretty anxious. What's this about? Now, you might want to dismiss this person or call them crazy or even call them anxious and say, you're having an anxiety attack. Chill the fuck out, yo. You understand what I'm saying? And this is an issue that we have with this world is because, and look, the health system is partially to blame. These ideologies pertaining to psychology included and psychiatry included, right, are partially to blame. I give them credit for making all of the progress that they've made so far. However, when you dismiss these people and you write them off as something abnormal, what you're doing is you're just rejecting who they are. And all of this terminology about programming and deprogramming, in my opinion, should not be projected onto these types of individuals, especially after you have the knowledge of astrology to understand they're just being them. That is the program that they've been written in birth, more closely to the natal chart. But if you know anything about astrology, or all astrologers even teach this, but we have a solar chart. That's where you get your horoscopes from every day. You gotta go to the source to get what you can get from source in order to nurture your innate capability, your soul and your spirit, which is your natal chart. That's the formula. It doesn't go down any other way. And if you came up with a different way and that it worked, you let me know. You email me, you do whatever you gotta do and tell me how you came across that. And I'll be open to listen. But I'm telling you what I know. You gotta go to the source. So again, let's get back to the Virgo example. If this Virgo is speaking to you like this, it's the heavy energy of the stellium being in Capricorn. What they're trying to say with that anxious attachment is, I would love to structure these Capricornian constructs with you in a way that it's orderly, in a way that it's methodic, say is, I wish I could make a business out of this, right? But who wants to come out and say, yeah, dating you should be a business? How can, where's the PayPal button, right? Or yeah, I want my kid to be involved with you. And some of y'all may have experienced this with Virgo. It's just a natural displacement in the solar chart for things, right? They may say, oh yeah, I want my children to be a part of this as well, right? And again, you might be like, whoa, this is pretty aggressive, or, I didn't sign up for this. It's not about you. So when they say don't judge, it's not about you, it's them being them. However, the more you know, the better off you are, the better you are to able to deal with people, right? Because you'll know this now when you're speaking to a Virgo and say, oh, I get it now, right? And they know it's a risk. They know it's a gamble. So again, if you judge them and say, oh, well, let's say you know that they've had a relationship with someone prior to that, and they may have involved their kid or their children. They may have, and it may have been a gamble. It may have been just dating. They didn't marry this person or whatever the case may be. And you may say, well, you know what? You sure like to repeat the same old type of things, right? Like you didn't get it last time. And it's like, no, you're not getting it. That's what they do. That's what they do. Now, should that gamble, that risk had transformed into repetition in a healthy relationship or a healthy dating in the 6th house, which then would have transformed and transpired into the 7th house, which would have developed into that type of contractual agreement, then yeah, it's finished, right? You don't need to take any more gambles and risks when it comes to dating and the children and having fun and all that. They have succeeded in the evolution of astrology. However, you can't write them off and dismiss them as crazy for being repetitious, right? That's another thing, a saying that's flying around. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. That's called being crazy. That's what we do all the time. You pay a cell phone bill every month. You pay an internet bill every month. You pay hospital bills every month. You go to the dentist every month. Everybody don't go to the dentist, but you get what I'm saying, right? We do repetitious things all the time. We are repetitious creatures, and the more repetitious you are in any field or industry, they call you an expert, right or wrong. So pay close attention to these types of things in the Capricorn energy and how it operates, so you'll understand, you'll be able to pick up on the cues, and you'll be able to make better decisions, or at least frame things in a way to where you can better correspond with them and say, well, you know what, I think we should do it like this, because you understand the Capricorn energy, right? It's kind of insulting, if you will, to, and this is not all of the time, like I personally don't think it's insulting, but I've been in situations and discussions with other people to where they said, well, man, you sure try to put a dollar sign over everything, or you sure try to like sap the organic process out of everything by turning it into some type of structure or some type of business. And it's because, yeah, it'd be true a lot of the time, and it's because I can see and identify their Capricorn energy. Their desires and their wants is there. It's right behind the Capricorn veil. You got to structure it. This is why corporations are at such an all-time high and at an all-powerful position right now. It's because the Capricorn energy must be translated into a structure in order for it to be recognized and have identity. And that's why I call it the vampire of the astrology. It has to latch on to something that is moving, that is building, that has foundation, and that is being built up for recognition purposes. Or else it will just keep feeling annoying to you. Like, yo, I heard you the first, like, why are you so persistent, right? It's because the ambition it's the ambition associated with this energy. It must be known, it must be recognized. So when you think about something that is not known and is not recognized, right, you might look at Leo as an opposite, an antithesis to this, and say, well, Leo is just known just by being Leo-ish, right? Like, it's going to make sure that it's known, and then, but the Capricorn perspective of that energy is just like, well, yeah, everybody's everybody, but what about the mountain? You know, we're all everybody. We're all souls. What did you do that is so special? You know what I'm saying? That's so miraculous with that soul of yours, that great, grandiose soul of yours. What did you do? What did you achieve? What do they know you for around here? Telling jokes? That's it? You know what I'm saying? So this is why Capricorn energy must latch onto something and show people that there is a such thing as achievements. There is a such thing as achieving your goals, which is more of a, I would say, more attributed to Virgo, but is also associated with Capricorn, right? Setting your mind out to do something, more associated with self-volition than free will. Self-volition versus free will is a true thing. It's a real thing. I know it sounds like the same exact thing. You might even read the definitions in the dictionary and say, well, that's the same fucking thing. What are you talking about? Self-volition versus free will. But it's different. And if you want to know the distinctness of the difference, think the sun and think the Saturn. The sun is free will. Free will is, even if you had an intention to do something, you might just get the fuckers today and be like, I feel like this. You know, I feel, because I'm an individual and I have the right to free will, I'm going to fuck off today and just say, fuck it, fuck you, fuck, and just do that, right? Okay. That was a lot of fucks, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? But self-volition is more of the willpower that's attached to that thing that you set your mind to. That says, well, no, I'm not going to fuck it off today. I'm not going to get the fuckets. Like, something is either going to be done that pertains to that thing that I want to do, or I'll just sit back and won't do nothing. But I won't risk, right, a sun thing. I won't risk and jeopardize what it is that I've already accumulated just for a fun day or a fun time or a fun moment. It might be 30 seconds, right? Because it's more about self-volition of willpower and determination to achieve, opposed to just the willpower to be yourself. Look that up in a different time or whatever the case may be. But I'm saying this again now. I'm not picking on Virgos, or Virgo energy either. Just wanted to use that as an example. Hopefully, some of y'all can pinpoint that when you, or have after listening to me and say, "Oh, that's why Virgo is acting like that." Oh, okay, great. Let's get to Libras. Libras, if you know any Libra energy, right? Not Libras, excuse me. Libra energy, for the most part, Capricorn in the solar chart will be in their fourth house. So it's looking to build a nest egg later in the future. This energy is going to be encouraged to involve themselves with factions, institutions, and people that have 401k plans. They're going to be looking at the stock market to see how much the dividends are, how long has these companies been around, because if I invest in it now, or is Tesla a good company? Because it seems like if I invest in it now, it might give a 200% return 10 years from now. I can retire lovely, right? Or I can borrow back from my 401k plan as I go. But I know after this 20 years in this city job, or the 20 years, 30 years here, I'm going to get that pension, and I'm going to be living with this amount of money on a consistent basis later on. They may even be very anxiously attached to the real estate sector. Like, yo, I got to get a home. I must have a home. I must have a home. And again, they're not crazy. They're just going according to the code, going according to the program. Now, what they may not understand is their ambition that's attached to this fourth house construct, and they're doing this very strongly related to family as well, right? The reason why they're doing this or operating this, what they may not know is that it should be in a business. They should be constructing that towards business, because the relationship, right, from a Libra's perspective, is going to want to get into a relationship where it's fair. Okay, I'll trade my labor for this type of deal and compensation in return, right? Now, I'm not saying that just because the characteristics of the sign and the placements are there and they're natural, that they're going to work to that Libra energy's preference. It may not, and if it doesn't, it may be just merely because of what I'm stating of why corporations have taken this huge turn and excelled in society today, is because the Libra energy, if it did not turn that ambition for fourth house characteristics into a business, they may personally fail at it. They may personally be hurt and bruised behind it too. It's like getting a 30-year mortgage for a $450,000 house instead of starting an LLC and buying a house, renting it on Airbnb, staying there in the weekends or staying there for the summer, right? Because if you're working 8 to 12 hours a day every week, how do you enjoy a $450,000 house? Now, look, I know I may sound like an asshole. However, I'm just giving you the lesson. You understand what I'm talking about? Let's go to Scorpios. You ever communicated with a Scorpio pertaining to the solar house? It may feel like they are anxiously attached to controlling the conversation, to controlling even how you respond and correspond in that conversation. Now, you may think that's a Scorpio being a dick, when in all actuality, it's the anxious attachment of Capricorn energy trying to turn communication into a business, into a method, into a structure that has rules, right? Like, as an astrologer, I'm telling you, many times I've come across people who have issues with Scorpios and they're just like, oh man, including myself, Scorpio moon, sometimes I have conversations with them. I'm just like, man, you really are really trying to like control this conversation, right? They're not crazy. You don't have to be dismissive to them. It's going, the energy and the correspondence is going according to the code and the program. Now, again, what this Scorpio energy may not under the house in their solar chart is that communication should be a business. And again, I know that may sound like some real haughty, egotistical bullshit. However, I'm telling you how this Capricorn shit works, yo. Business, government, rules, regulation, method, structure, so it becomes professional. This is how things become elite. This is why you hear these outlandish things about the elite. Practice makes perfect. So this is why you may experience that type of energy or experience these types of correspondences from other people, and you might personalize this and say, damn them Scorpios, damn those Libras, damn those Virgos, the fuck. When in all actuality, it's the code that's more associated with the sun. This is another powerful secret of the sun. This is the code of the solar chart. This doesn't even have, we're not even scratching the surface of these individuals, because when it gets personal is what these individuals' natal charts represent. You'll understand that they're going according to the program of the sun, of the solar chart. And what it does is it breeds what they need to nurture their soul and their spirit, which pertains to their natal chart of who they truly are. So you know when they say when you put on a mask and everything, it's not really like putting on a mask. It's just coming out and playing the game, Sun, Leo, the game every day, to where you become conscious of who you truly are as you go along. You know how many people go through life and don't know who they truly are until they start getting more experience? That's why they say solar returns. The more you go lap around the sun, the more you become versed and the more you become looked at in the Saturn realm. The number 40 is associated with Saturn, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's no coincidence. You need aging is a fantastic thing. You need at least 40 laps around the sun before you can consider yourself to be achieving something or on your way to being recognized, to have some type of status in this world, right? It's a gradual process of transformation. Saturn's a transformational planet. But the ambition that's attached to Capricorn is what pushes it and triggers the energy to be attached anxiously onto something that is moving, that is building, that is has a foundation that is sturdy and can be recognized for that. It can have an epitome of it. It doesn't stay limited. It grows into something. It harvests, it reaps what it sows. Saturn, the symbol of Saturn was a sickle. It's a sickle when you look at it. It's a sickle because it reaps up the fruits, the crops, right? And it brings it in after they grow. Saturn moves over agriculture, right? All right, I'm probably going a little bit off, but the main reason for me explaining this is, again, the stellium inside of Capricorn. You may be feeling some energies from people that feel overwhelming, and they might really be triggering your mind to say, oh, I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something more. I'm too relaxed, or I'm having too much fun, or I'm not seeing the room where development can be addressed right now to make me a better person later on. You may not see it right now with the input, the type of output that can come from the input right now, because you may not see immediate results. So you're like, yo, I'm just going to do what works in an instant. What happens, the microwave society. I need something that's tangible right now at the moment. And the heaviness of the Capricorn energy is suggesting something else. Like, yo, it's a wake-up call as well that says, look, this is the opportunity to develop something that can be huge. Huge as the corporations that are not shut down right now, that have not went through phase anything during what we've just recently faced. You get what I'm saying? Get in the comment section if you don't, and if you do. Chime in. Let me know what you feel about these things. Tell me some of your experiences. Maybe you can concur with these things. And let's try to begin speaking about these things in terms of energy and not as people, right? And of course, things do get personal. There are personal planets, and we all are individuals. If you must speak in that context, fine. I'm not telling you to totally avoid it, but for the sake of being more open in dialogue in the threads, let's at least try to approach it in that manner, so everyone is not so easily, or should I say, easily negatively impacted by some of the things that I say, right? Because we're still teaching each other, regardless if I'm at the forefront of the message. We're still learning and teaching each other after the message is delivered in the comment section. All right, y'all, I'm out of here.